So the energy crisis obviously peaked with the war in Ukraine, meaning the cost of oil and stuff was going up. Everyone's bills were going through the roof and people were turning to a more sustainable solution and really taking control of their own energy pricing. And people were looking to solar, and especially solar and battery, to have that solution within their own hands and not have to be paying these extortionate prices. And I think since the energy crisis in 2022, when installers' pipelines were so full, 2023, 2024, and it just sort of peaked in that 2025 space. So yeah, last year was huge for us.
Welcome to the OpenSolar podcast. My name is Melissa and I'm from OpenSolar. I'm actually really excited for today's episode because we have an opener on the pod. It's been a crazy few years at OpenSolar, and we've been at the center of one of the fastest growing European solar markets. And I'm happy to have one of our leaders in the industry, Hollie, and we're here to talk about your journey. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thanks, Melissa. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's exciting to have you here. I've had the pleasure to work with Hollie for over a year now, but I know that you've been in the solar industry for a much longer time. And I really wanted to really learn about more on what actually pulled you into the solar industry in the first place.
Yeah, sure. So my background is advertising, and I worked at some of the UK's largest advertising agencies over for about 10 or 12 years. Working on loads of FMCG goods, and I really wanted to use my experience, my expertise, my skill set into something worthwhile, in the sense that something fulfilling. So not just adding to a company's bottom line, but changing lives, changing the planet, changing the climate. So I was looking for something in this space, and I came across a role at CGen. I met with Hollie Carek, and her passion for the industry was infectious. I knew very quickly that this is a place I wanted to be in, a space I wanted to work in, and I've never looked back.
Oh, I love that. That's so lovely. And it's cool because Hollie Carek is actually on the OpenSolar advisory board now, which is like really exciting to have such a boss on our team. I wanted to know, what did the UK landscape look like in solar when you first stepped into the industry?
Yeah, so quite different than it does now. I joined in June 2019. And from what I hear, it was very much the calm after the storm. So the feed-in tariff in the UK ended at the end of March 2019. So the demand at the beginning of that year was just insane. Homeowners were rushing to get solar on their roofs before the feed-in tariff ended. So I arrived at a time when everyone was sort of a bit disheveled and finding their new norm. But it was a great time to join.
Oh, I love that. And would you say there was a bit of a deafening moment from then and to now, and how much the industry has actually grown over time?
Yeah, it's quite a different place, Melissa. Like in 2019, no one was talking about batteries. They were really expensive. There was no incentives. Very, very few batteries were sold in the UK. The smart export guarantee was introduced then in 2020. Flexible tariffs came into play. The battery technology increased, so improved, making them more affordable. And the latest stats on OpenSolar now is showing that 87% of all designs that go through OpenSolar have a battery attached to them, which is incredible. And even like the panels are bigger, like physically bigger. So there's more cells in there, better technology. So your rooftop now versus your rooftop in 2019 is producing 30% more energy. So it's just a different space. There's so much more technology.
Yeah, and I can imagine this creates a massive shift to the grid as well. And I really want us to talk about that in a little bit. I also wanted to touch on 2025. I've actually got some data for you because a lot was happening in 2025. And the BBC analysis of National Energy System Operator data showed solar generation jumped nearly 30% year on year, producing more than 18 terawatts of hours of electricity, and supplied 40% of national demand during like short periods last summer, which I thought was incredible. Did you feel that 2025 felt different inside the industry in comparison to the other building years to now kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the industry is affectionately known as the solar coaster. There are huge ups and huge downs depending on a load of different factors, geopolitical factors, pricing, supply levels, government incentives. It's definitely felt like the momentum had been building. And I think since the energy crisis in 2022, when installers' pipelines were so full, 2023, 2024, and it just sort of peaked in that 2025 space. So yeah, last year was huge for us, very busy and really exciting.
What was happening in 2022? I wasn't in the solar industry then. So what kind of was happening with installers and demand and things like that?
Yeah, so the energy crisis obviously peaked with the war in Ukraine, meaning the cost of oil and stuff was going up. So all of our gas and electricity bills, yeah, everyone's bills were going through the roof, and people were turning to a more sustainable solution and really taking control of their own energy pricing. And people were looking to solar, and especially solar and battery, to have that solution within their own hands and not have to be paying these extortionate prices.
I love that. Okay, no, that makes a total sense, because now you've said that, I look back at 2022 and I'm like, that's when our electricity bills went really, really crazy as well. And I remember I was a little bit younger back then, and I used to, and no matter what, I would put £20 in my car, and and everyone would panic and be like, "Oh, the gas, like the petrol's gone up," and I was thinking, not for me, but it obviously has gone up. Like, I know. And now I definitely understand it. And now I have an electric car, so things are different for me. I've upgraded. But yeah, with net zero targets and the future home standards set to make solar a default feature of new housing, are we entering a more permanent acceleration phase, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, good question. I don't think we should assume this is permanent. We are certainly entering a high growth phase, but it's not an endless upward curve. And if we look at Birchie's S-curve model, it shows exactly that. There's a huge growth, but at some point it is going to level out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess with things like the warm homes plan, for example, as well, it can cause a bit of uncertainty in the market, especially when things are a bit more vague and we don't have the full details. I think even until now, we're still kind of waiting for details, aren't we?
Yeah, we know it's going to be next year, so we can crack on this year as normal. Nothing is going to be announced till next year, so hopefully, hopefully things will keep moving with a good momentum.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I know that we had slightly touched on people using batteries alongside their solar systems now. Would you say there's been a change on grid usage because of that? And how is the UK actually getting on with that,
Yeah, so I think it's the flip. So the increase in battery usage is because the grid was under so much pressure, and there was so many constraints there with sort of DNO bottlenecks and export caps. So that's why people are taking control of their own energy. We've got things like smart tariffs as well, which helps. But so you can charge a battery overnight and then use it during the day when the costs are higher. But yeah, I think it's because of the grid being at capacity that batteries have grown, along with all the other things like the cost of energy, living, cost of crisis, prices of batteries are going down, technology improving.
Which is a good thing, I guess. Hopefully more things incentivize homeowners to get batteries and make it easier for people to understand why a battery would actually help them, and not, it's not just going to cost more money or something like that, right?
Absolutely.
So you've been a leader in the industry for a few years now, and I wanted to know what kind of qualities matter to you the most in leading in such a high growth constrained environment?
Yeah, really good question. I think the main one for me is agility. So we have to switch lanes very quickly, wear many hats. Adapting at pace is really key in solar and in software. And also, I think the other one is resilience. So being able to ride these waves, to be able to dust yourself off and pick yourself back up again and move on to the next phase of the solar coaster.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It is the lots of ups and downs, but it's what keeps it exciting, I guess. What sort of tips would you give young professionals and maybe women wanting to get into this space, or just climate technology overall?
Yeah, I love this. I'm really passionate about women in this space, and I'm luckily enough to be a member of Women in Solar Europe, the WISU network. So for women in particular, I'd say don't underestimate the value of your perspective. Like, climate tech needs all of this diversity, all these thoughts from a mixture of people. And seeking out a network of like-minded people has certainly helped me. So having the WISU network as a space they advocate for greater inclusion and representation within renewables, and really create a space for mentorship and support within the industry.
I love that. And AWISE is such a wonderful organization as well. Their events are always so meaningful, and it's just good to see like women come together in the industry where it's so male dominated.
Yeah. And not just women either. It's women and allies. So there's a load of men who are members of WYSU as well, which is amazing. It's women and allies always.
I love that. And are you an ambassador?
Yes. Yeah. So I get involved in all of their events, co-host sessions, and work really closely with Carmen. And it's an absolute pleasure to be involved.
Oh, that's lovely. I always really enjoy their events at the conferences we go to. So it's really meaningful that you're part of such an amazing organization too. What really amazes me is the fact that only a few years ago, OpenSolar was strictly a design tool. And now we've created this amazing solar operating system. And I wanted to know, what's your kind of favorite features out of all the new ones that we've launched recently? Because there are a lot.
I mean, that's like trying to pick a favorite child, isn't it? But I only have one child, so I probably should say her. Jokes aside, as I mentioned before, the start of my career in solar was in distribution. So for me, my heart is there still, to be able to integrate my two passions. So to bring in the distributors into OpenSolar and launch Shop was amazing. And OpenSolar's mission has always been and will always be to accelerate the adoption of solar and to create this sort of marketplace space where installers can come in, procure their products as quickly as possible and seamlessly as possible. It's just great. And to be able to they can see live pricing, live availability from leading distributors at the click of a button. I'm super proud of Shop. And we've recently just launched a couple of new suppliers, and seeing them take off over the next couple of months is going to be a real highlight of 2025.
It's actually really exciting because now we can officially say we've got 3 new distributors on the OpenSolar Shop: Waxman Energy, Alternergy, and New Vision. So pros can obviously design, order, sell all on our platform. How do you think that will change the relationship between them and distributors on our platform?
Yeah, good question. So we are trying to make this whole process as seamless and as quick as possible. And the feedback we were getting from distributors and from pros was that they would often do the design within OpenSolar and then take that communication offline. There'd be WhatsApps, emails, calls, and it could be like the chain wasn't visible, and they weren't able to influence the buying decisions at the right time. Whereas now we are launching imminently, it's in beta at the minute, but Supplier Assist, which will mean that the distributor can go in at an account management level and help the installer. They can, influence pricing, they can check the designs right, so we can get it right first time and quicker and within this platform. So we're really excited about that new tool. I think it will make the relationship between them slicker and tighter rather than us trying to sort of cut them out. That's not the intention.
No, absolutely. We're here to kind of make everything a bit smoother, isn't it? And I guess now we have 6 new distributors, which is so exciting. What is next for Shop?
So we've got CEF coming next month, and we're really excited about that in terms of another supplier coming on board. They're just a dream to work with. And then in terms of Shop itself, we're currently giving it a bit of a facelift. So we are making it more e-commerce-y, making it more intuitive to navigate, giving our distributors the opportunity to influence deals and get the right products in front of the pros at the right time, which is exciting. Yeah, we've got a load of tools coming to help Shop partners to be able to procure and be able to get the right products in the right place, which is great.
Oh, I really like that. And I'm excited to see the changes because it's already been changing so much. And I'm excited for pros to really get in there and see how it can be really, really helpful for them in their day to day. And so much is happening in the industry. In one sentence, how would you describe the UK solar industry right now?
I mean, look, I'm aging. It's exhausting. But in one sentence, I'd say, you know what? It's a really exciting place to be. And strap in because it's moving fast, and it's, there's just the world's our oyster at the minute, which is really exciting.
Oh, well, Hollie, thank you so much for sharing a bit more about your journey and the market. It was really wonderful to have you on the podcast, and I'm really excited to see what the rest of 2026 brings for the solar industry and for OpenSolar. We hope you come back on the podcast. Have a sunny day.